If you are injury prone in either sports, running, training in general, or if you would like to increase your agility, your flexibility, and train not just for speed and power, but also longevity, both in your training and in life, then stay tuned because today we're going to cover the top 3 movement training exercises for beginners. Let's get after it. If you are committed to training Spartan strong and training for life, then go ahead and click like and subscribe. And if you are absolutely 100% committed to living a Spartan lifestyle, then please click the notification bell so you can stay up to date on our most recent Spartan training tips and tricks. Let's get into the video. So for those of you that are new to movement training, what it is essentially is it is movement that combines functional body weight training, active stretching, and range of motion exercises in order to increase joint strength, mobility, and flexibility. And the really nice thing about movement training is it is extremely low impact. So, like I said, for those of you who are injury prone or who have had problems with frequent injuries in any sort of training, this can be extremely helpful for you. And so I want to cover the top 3 movement training exercises for beginners because there are some really complicated movements that require, a large amount of strength and targeted muscles we don't use frequently. And also there can be, range of motion or flexibility that is required for these that a lot of us don't have because we haven't been training this. And so the top 3 exercises we're going to go over are the bear crawl, the COSSAC squat, and dive bombers. So first, the bear crawl. So what you're going to do for the bear crawl is you want to get down on your hands and feet, and you're going to keep your bottom slightly in the air. You're not going to be like in a full downward dog position for those of you that do yoga, but you're going to slowly alternate putting one hand forward and then the opposite leg and going back and forth in a movement similar to what a bear uses to get around. That's why it's called the bear crawl. And for those of you that may have done sports in high school, this is a common exercise that you can do or may have done in the past. But you want to start out slow because if you're not used to doing movements, you don't want to overdo it too quickly and, injure a joint, pull a muscle, and then take you out of your training. So start slow and do these intentionally. And as you start to do these, over time, you can get faster to where you're, doing a bear run. Now, the second movement training exercise that we're going to cover is called the COSSAC Squat. And what you're going to do is get your feet out, further than shoulder width apart so you can really get your balance. And you want to keep your heels on the ground as best as you can. It may take a while to get to that point, but then what you're going to slowly do is do what, something similar to a side lunge where you've got one leg extended out and you keep your balance or your center of gravity over your other heel. And if you turn your feet out or angle your feet out, it makes it easier to keep your balance and keep that heel that you're putting your weight on down to really get that full stretch. And as you're moving side to side and back and forth, you want to try and keep your hips and your bottom as low to the ground as possible. This will really work your quads. It'll help your core stability and, stretch out your legs and work on ankle mobility as well. And lastly, we've got the dive bomber. And with this, what you're going to do is you're going to get into a similar position that you do for the bear crawl, or even more of a downward dog position where you've got your heels and your feet on the ground as much as possible. And what you're going to do is start to bring your chest down towards the ground while starting to arch your back. And if you imagine that you're like going underneath a bar or a barbed wire, it can help you get the movement down. And what you want to do is get into a position where your back is arched, your chest is forward, and your pelvis is towards the ground and your arms are locked out. And then what you're going to do is then just slowly do the reverse, where you will pretend like you're arching under a bar, start to raise your butt towards the sky, and then bring your body weight back towards your heels into the initial starting position. And so those are the top 3, movement training exercises that I found to be really helpful for beginners that, don't take a lot of dexterity, balance, flexibility to start out with. And I like to do these to start my day. So I have a morning ritual or morning routine that I do every day. It's what I've called the Start Spartan routine, and I actually have a short guide, a free download that you can get. There's a link down in the description of the video, but you can go ahead and click that and follow the same routine that I do every day to start the day off Spartan strong. But part of that is training, and what I like to do is I like to do my mobility or stretching exercises in the morning, and part of that is movement training. And then I can do my runs, my weightlifting, strength training later in the day when I get a chance. But go ahead and incorporate this into your day. It only takes a couple of minutes, and again, it can really increase your flexibility, your range of motion, and just being able to do more movement in your everyday life. And it will also help prevent injuries. So get after it, train hard, train smart, and train Spartan. We'll catch you next time.